Georgia versus Ole Miss. A rematch from earlier this season. Obviously, Georgia took the game 43-35. There wasn't a punt until the fourth quarter. Both teams gave up almost over 1,000 yards combined. It really came down to the clutch factor and the it factor. Georgia was able to get the victory. A lot riding on this, not only from a football standpoint, from an emotional standpoint. We all understand Kirby Smart's dad did pass away last year during this same game in New Orleans at New Orleans Medical. Gunnar Stockton's first start as a quarterback was in New Orleans last year, which they ended up losing to Notre Dame 23-10. It's just a lot more riding on it. I'm seeing a lot of talk in the media right now from Ole Miss about how they gave us the game, they lost the game, we didn't win the game. What does Saban say? Rat poison, bulletin board material. I'm sure that's on loop right now in the Georgia locker room. Coming into it, very evenly matched. I think what it comes down to is your defensive coach is now your head coach. This is the same defensive coach that gave up over 500 yards to this same team. Georgia has peaked since then, and their defense hasn't given up over 19 points. Correctly, 20 points to Mississippi State in garbage time. Like you said, you don't take the pads off. Held Texas to 10 points, held Georgia Tech to 9 points, held Alabama to 7 points in the SEC championship. So, and I've seen Ole Miss give up points and points and points and points. You've now moved your defensive coordinator who gave up 43 points and 500 yards to your head coaching position. So if Georgia can fine-tune the defense like they couldn't do, they had no problem scoring against Ole Miss. I think Georgia takes it. Could be a 10 to 14-point victory. Love to know what you think about it, Clark.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of play to your point about the coach being brought in that gave up 43 and 500-plus yards, you also have to look at the fact that Schumann and that defense gave up 35 on the first 5 possessions against Ole Miss.
Quick.
And I know people really like to talk about Lane Kiffin not being there. A lot of the pundits out there have said that this is going to be the game where the Lane Kiffin effect truly takes place.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily see it being that way because he wasn't calling the plays during the season. I mean, it's a very similar situation to how Ryan Day is with Ohio State now calling the plays. He had a hand in what was taking place there the entire year. And, there are a lot of teams in a worse position than Ohio State is in regards to calling plays. They're not really showing it so far through this game.
I don't know about right now.
Yeah.
While we're recording this.
At the same time, I think that Ole Miss comes in there very confident that they can move the ball, as they should be. That they've been able to pretty much move the ball up and down the field.
All year.
Yeah, pretty much every game.
Yeah.
And, I think that this team has a very unique situation here where, you were bailed on for what your man, the guy that recruited you and brought you in, felt like was a better opportunity and was honest.
A higher tier program.
Not to mention in the midst of an unbelievable, you could argue the best season already in Ole Miss history.
Most wins from a college team in the state of Mississippi ever.
And there's been some dogs that have come through Mississippi.
Yeah.
So, that's a big accomplishment. Mm-hmm. And Lane knew, hey, his stock was never going to be higher. And he just needed to go ahead and make it happen. Jimmy Sexton obliged him. For all of you that don't know, that's the agent of 14 of the 16 SEC coaches at this current moment.
Cool.
Well, I think that ultimately Ole Miss is going to end up falling a little bit short. I don't necessarily think Georgia runs away with it, but at the same time, I do see them having a handle on it, if that makes sense. I think your final is probably going to be something in the ballpark of, I think, a little bit lower scoring this time, probably about 31-23, maybe 31-24.
One possession game. So when we speak in the Glenn Schumann aspect of 500 yards and 35 points in 5 possessions, have you seen improvement in Georgia's defense from that game?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been able to see 2 of the games since Georgia played in person.
Yeah.
One against Texas, which I believe was your most complete game, especially given that Texas really didn't have any sort of say in not being full strength. That they had no excuses. They showed up and they got walked. That onside kick might have been the bit of juice that you guys needed to carry you through the next few games, including the dragging of my favorite team, the University of Alabama.
Yeah,
that's not something that any of us have ever been used to, but it's something that happened. Injuries or not, on Alabama's side, Georgia walked them the entire game. I was there to see it, and it was not great, but at the same time, it showed a very complete effort and a more complete team on Georgia's end than they were even at the time of that Ole Miss game, let alone their loss to Alabama earlier in the year that they ultimately avenged. But I think that Georgia comes in. They run the ball really well this game.
Mm-hmm.
I see probably 200 plus rushing yards for them, and I think that they're not going to ask Gunner to play hero ball twice in one season against the same team.
Game manager.
Yeah, and he had to have a Superman kind of effort last time around.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I think you guys were down 9 going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And 17-0 in the fourth. I mean that's a Gunner Stockton deal. I look at that as being his best game to date. So I think he's coming in really confident into this one too.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's not going to try to play above himself like he did in the first game. I think he's probably about 200 to 225 passing yards. And I think he probably gets it in the end zone a couple more times. It seemed to me that they've found a bit of a wrinkle with Zechariah Branch the last 2 or 3 games that really hadn't been looking for through the first 8 or 9 weeks of the season. Yeah. So, yeah, I think Georgia controls the game. I don't think they run away with it by any stretch. But I think Ole Miss, they hang their hat on a really good season after this one. But they come up just short.
I completely agree in that. And the next one, we'll move on to another SEC team, obviously your favorite team. So we both got Georgia moving on, both got Texas Tech moving on. If you could see an upset in either one of those games, is it Texas Tech, Oregon, or is it Georgia, Ole Miss? Those 2 games in particular.
I don't necessarily look at either Texas Tech or Oregon upsetting either one of each other. Who's the favorite? Oregon by probably 2.5.
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech's the favorite.
Yep.
I'm actually kind of surprised by that, mainly just because of the branding aspect.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think Texas Tech finds a way to win. I think Ole Miss finds a way to win.
Oh, you mean Georgia? Oh Lord!
Excuse me, Freudian.
Oh Lord!
Freudian slip. Yeah, I got Georgia handling them, 31-24.
There we go.